Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Hey, I'm back. Part 4 of my streaming marathon. That's super exciting. And I think this is really a very, very interesting experiment. So I've learned so much already about streaming, about communicating with the community. It's really a huge pleasure to do this project here. So I am checking if is there already anyone? No, not yet. Okay. Anyway, today I want to move on working on my three-dimensional space that I've created with processing. I happily, luckily managed to install processing 4 again on my Linux Ubuntu operating system, which was super easy. So for any reason, my OS just eradicated processing 4 and I was unable to start it and open my sketches. So I had to use processing 3, which didn't make any difference. But yeah, so now I'm back and able to use processing 4 again. Let me just also start the recording of this stream and head over to my, to my screencast. I've got a stream deck here. Yeah, and it works. That's cool. Okay. Let's go to the let me see, the live stream code that I've saved yesterday. And I've got some thoughts I want to share with you about this. So, good morning, Sergio. Nice to have you on board. Hi. Great. You are already here since the very beginning. That's super cool. I love that. That's great. I want to share some thoughts on this project. So yesterday we had some discussions about how we could proceed with this three-dimensional space. So at the moment I have this kind of scene where I have these video walls or these kind of video walls that I just arranged inside of the three-dimensional space. And there were some amazing commands that I really appreciated. So Stick, for example, asked to use the g.get function to replace those visuals that we've just created through or with an pgraphics object here with the signal that is sent to the application window itself. So to create kind of an visual recursion. And by the way, I have the feeling that the live stream seems to be broken for any reason. Could you please leave a comment and tell me if it works for you, if you can hear me? Because I've got other computer work running here and there it seems to not work. But it's connected in my wireless LAN, so maybe that's the reason. But Sergio, can you still hear me well? That's great. Okay, thank you. Cool. Stig, good morning. It's so cool to have people I know here in this YouTube stream. That's really amazing. Stig was just speaking with you about you and your idea to use the g.get function here to replace these visuals on the video walls. Let's do that for now, but I have also some, let's say, philosophical thoughts on this. But before, I would like to try if that works. So in my scene tab here, I use the image function to display the pgraphics object here. This is the place where I do that. And here I probably can replace that piece of code with saying g.get parentheses. That should work. Let's see if that's true. It's much slower and I don't see anything. So it does not work. But Stick, I remember you posted some code to the Discord channel, so maybe I should take a look at it before to understand how that actually works. Let's see. And by the way, I really love the fact that in Discord, there are so many people just having conversations about what I'm doing here and sharing the code, making remixes, posting them on Instagram. That's really, really amazing. Okay, let's see if there's... Oh, I also have to announce that I'm back here in Discord. I'm back online on YouTube. Join the stream. And I will take the code of stick to try it out. Let's see. Okay, cool. Extract, put it to my downloads folder. Oh, okay, I already extracted it a moment ago, but I didn't try it out. So let's do that for now. Let's see what happens. Okay. Ooh, okay. This is amazing. Wow, this is cool. Okay, what are you doing here? Okay, you've set the display density. That's okay. Texture mode is normal, whatever that means. Lights, all right. Push matrix, translate to the middle. Begin a shape. This is where you put the texture onto. This is where you place the texture. And here you use a function called hint disable depth, however you pronounce that. Disable depth mask. What does that do? What does it do? To hear your philosophical, yeah, I will I will tell you about my philosophical ideas about recursion. Hi Thomas. Yeah, so what does this function do? Hint disable depth mask. Let's ask the processing reference. Processing hint. I still hide my Google and my Windows. I don't want you to see because I think that it is illegal to show specific sites in a stream. I heard of that. I'm very picky about things like those, so I'm very careful. I don't want to do any errors here, and I don't want to go to jail because I'm showing a Google logo. Okay, this function is used to enable or disable special features that control how graphics are drawn. Okay, in the course of developing processing, we had to make hard decisions about trade-offs between performance and visual quality. We put significant effort into determining what makes most sense for the largest number of users, and then use functions like hint to allow users to tune the settings for their particular sketch. Okay. Implementing a hint is a last resort that used when a more elegant solution cannot be found. Some options might graduate to standard features instead of hints over time, or be added and removed between major releases. All right. Hints used by the default renderer. Okay. Enable stroke pure. Fixes a problem with shapes that have a stroke and are rendered using small steps, for instance using vertex with points that are close to one another or are drawn at small sizes. Okay. Hints for use with P2D and P3D. That's interesting for us. So disable async save frame. Save and save frame will not use separate threads for saving and will block until the image is written to the drive. This was the default behavior in 3.0 or OB7 and before. To enable, call hint enable async save frame. That's not important. Okay, disable OpenGL errors. Speeds up the P3D renderer setting by not checking for errors while running. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Disable texture maps. Disable generation of text. Okay, this results in lower quality but faster running of. Okay, this is not what we are using. This is what we are using, I think. Disable depth mask. I still don't know how to pronounce that word. Depth. So disable depth mask disables writing into the depth buffer. This means that a shape drawn with this hint can be hidden by another shapes drawn later. Oh, okay. irrespective of their distances to the camera. Note that this is different from disabling the depth test. The depth test is still applied as long as the disable depth test hint is not called, but the depth values of the objects are not recorded. This is useful when drawing a semi-transparent 3D object without depth thwarting in order to avoid visual glitches due to the faces, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Did you understand anything? I didn't. I think this basically does one thing. It does not ask for the distance of the object to, but the order in which it is drawn in the code. That means if we create an object in the code before another object in the code, so really we are looking at the lines of code here, then it is above or under a specific element. That's probably the thing. Good morning, Speedwolf. Again, we are the inner circle, right? So all the people were here in this stream right since Monday. That's really nice. So cool. Okay, but I remember that I've used that once. So what happens if we disable this in Stig-Moller Hansen's code? Let's see. Nothing. So now for me the question arises why, and interestingly, that's pretty cool. Can you see that there's a time shift? So it's kind of an easing that happens here. It's super interesting. So I don't exactly know why. Stig, why you? Good morning, Smoochie. Good morning. I ask myself why Stig used this hint function. Oh, okay, and then okay, you store. I get it. You store that information of the global sketch in a pgraphics object. Okay. Let's do that as well. pgraphics.texture, pgraphics texture, and okay. Yeah, the time shift happens in analog techniques as well. That's true, Speedwolf. Yep. Okay, let's create a pgraphics element here, which is called texture. And then I will use the .get function to get the information from the global pgraphics object .get parentheses. So this gets the information of the global sketch, and I guess it is not a pgraphics but a pimage. Okay, that was my fault. I will eradicate this and I will create a pimage. It's very confusing because we already have a pimage object called text, which is also used to create a texture, but that's fine for now. Let's see if you also initialize this object. No, you don't. That's fine. Okay, texture dot equals to g.get. Cool. Now we should be able to yes, now we should be able to use here texture. Okay, I'm excited to see if that works. Oh my goodness. Okay, and you can see, whoa, this is amazing. Crazy. Let's walk through this. Okay, okay. Man. Okay, maybe we can adjust the contrast a bit by choosing a different image to make it, because at the moment everything is very grayish, whitish. Let's go to my sketch folder, and again, sometimes Ubuntu is very, very, you know, it's sometimes doesn't do what I want. Let's use a darker image. At the moment we are using this one here, which is very, very light, but I think if we use a darker image like this one, for example, 3.jpg, then it should be a little bit more, no, this is the wrong sketch. A little bit more, where's the sketch, man? Here. then it should be a little bit more, have more contrast. Let's see if that's true. Yes, a bit. Okay. Where is my lighting? Where is my direct? Oh, I deactivated directional light, I guess. Okay, maybe we can find or we can edit this floor to make it darker. So I really want to have some nice contrast here between the floor and the ceiling, the floor and the dome, you know, the sky. That's the word I was looking for. So let's use first of all lose contrast, brightness, contrast. Okay, something like this should be good. And by the way, I'm using GIMP here. I don't have Photoshop or anything comparable on my Linux computer. GIMP is terrible. It has a terrible user interface, and it really takes a bit of time to get your head around how it works. But I think it's interesting to see how that open source software could be used for editing images. Okay, now I think I could just say Command E and say floor2.jpg, and I will adjust the quality of the JPEG to 70, and now I can say floor2.jpg, which should be much darker. Yes, now it looks more interesting because we really see the, okay, we see some contrast here. This is amazing. Okay. And of course, I mean, it is super unrealistic that I'm rotating myself around my own axis, but and I don't, I don't see any. Come on, I don't see that the sky is also rotating. That's unrealistic, but fine for now, I would say. Good morning, Tamim. It's nice to have you here. I think it's not morning in Dubai, but I say good morning because I'm in Germany. Here it's now 10 p.m., 10 a.m., 10:15. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Now, I thought it would be cool to distribute these video walls a little bit more randomly on the sketch window. So to do that, I can, you know, I've got an X and a Z position. I would also like to add a Y position here. And I think it would be cool to just randomize these values to make a composition of many video walls in our scene. So I will now, so this is not necessary anymore. And this is also not really necessary anymore. We don't need that variable here anymore. Okay, so and now I say X equals to random, let's say 1000, 1000. And I do the same with Y, Z, and also with route, sorry, minus 1000 and 1000, and rotation could be minus 180, but it wouldn't do any difference. But anyway, that's fine. So X, Y, Z, and rotation. And let's see what happens then. They are distributed randomly now on the sketch window with a random rotation, but I also would like to have them you know, distributed on the y-axis. So we can use the translate function here for, nope, where is it? Wait. Of course, we are not using the display function. We are distributing the video walls in our main, or in the scene function, in the draw scene function. So w dot z should do the trick. Sorry, dot y, because it's, you know, it's upside down in any way. I don't understand. So now it should be distributed both on, whoa, man, look at this. Now we get recursion effects here. Okay, so this is maybe a good moment to talk about this philosophical thoughts I have about these. Whoa, look at this. This is a very nice shot. Okay, I will create quickly a nice function to create some screenshots. Interaction, here it is. So if, else, if key is equal to p, then save frame, and then I will create a folder inside of my sketch folder, out slash, and then I'll, okay, let's generate a random number plus int random plus dot png. This makes sure I don't overwrite any screenshots. And I also can set the amount of digits here by saying, I think the function is called SF or something. Digits, set amount of digits, NF, that's the name of this function. Yep, I think so, that I should rotate them around the x-axis. Oh, Benedict. Wow, Benedict, thank you so much for your feedback. I love to hear that. Thank you so much. Benedict writes in German that my courses have been a game changer for his learning in creative coding and processing. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. That's the fuel that drives me, to be honest. And yeah, that's amazing. Thanks. Cool. Okay. NF, NFA, and 10. Okay, the first is the value, and the second is the amount of digits. So that means I can say NF int random. Yep, and then I have to define how many digits I want to have. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, I think. Is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Okay. Let's see if that works. I will now, because I would just want to document a bit the process of exploring this scene. Yes, this looks amazing. Like, okay, P, I'm hitting the P button. Okay, now I have screenshots here on my, yeah, that's amazing. Nice. Okay, cool, that works. I can now do screenshots. Okay, I should rotate them on the x-axis as well. And then I will finally talk about my philosophy about this scene here, about my very specific thoughts on generative aesthetics. Okay, let's rotate the video walls also on the other axis. So I will create a rotate x variable, and it also should be a random minus 180. And now I can use that variable here in the scene function to rotate it on the x-axis as well. And in this case, it looks like the x-axis is z. Oh, okay. Okay, let's create 3 different rotation values: rod x, rod y, and rod z. Rod x, rod y, and rod z. Rod x, rod y, rod z, and here I can just duplicate that line of code here. Eradicate the printline function. And now I can replace, or I can set these values into my scene function, rod x dot rod y. I don't know what's z, x, and y because we are, you know, translating or rotating the whole coordinate system. But I don't want to confuse myself and you here too much, so I just will use the same values because it doesn't matter anymore because everything is rotated very randomly. Yeah. Okay. Now we've got a whoa. Thank you so much. That was a great idea. Whew. That's crazy. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Nice. Now, I am controlling the position of these elements here. Oh, audio is a little bit low. Maybe I can go a little bit deep, closer to the microphone. Check, check. Is it better now? Yeah, we get a weird recursion effect here in our sketch. Okay, I now can make a screenshot. Oh, I think this is much better, right? Can you hear me better? Yeah, that looks totally sick, absolutely. So I will now, in a minute, all I will do now is adjust the position of these elements, so make them not appear anymore under the plate, and then I will increase the amount of these objects. Yep. Ipsoka, that's what I'm planning to do. The magic of generative design. And then I will tell you my philosophical thoughts about this. But okay, first, again, we need to find out which value it is that we need to pull these video walls out of the sand. So do you remember which axis that was? I mean, we can do try and error, but I fear it was not Y, it was maybe Z. Let's see if that's true. Yeah, of course it will crash, it will become much slower. Oh wow, I think that could be the fix. Let me just also adjust the camera range. MX, MY, okay. Let me just say, Yep. Okay. I try to achieve that these elements do not appear under the plate. And that's what I have to find out now. Okay, let's do the try and error. Fix it the try and error way. That was not the right fix. How can we do that in an efficient way? With a mouse, I think. So float temp equals to map mouse x, comma. The mouse is now controlling the the Y position of the camera on the scene. So maybe that's a little bit confusing if I use the mouse here as well. Yes. I also can take the tweak mode. But the problem, no, that's not possible because these elements are created once when the constructor is run. That means simply put height divided by 2 plus random. Yeah, maybe that's a good solution. You mean at what axis, Thomas? What axis do you mean? Which of these three axes should I? In the meantime, I will try something different. Okay. Ooh, my goodness. Man. This looks like, whoa, this is super crazy. Oh man. Okay. Whoa. The magic of generative design. So the more I get, okay, the more I see of the sky, makes a lot of sense, the darker the visuals will become. And you can see that there is this time shift happening here. Whoa, crazy, crazy, crazy. Not sure, but that one where the floor is placed, but don't know if it's Y or Z. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know. I don't know that too. Okay, let's do this the scientific way. X equals to 0, Y equals to 0, Z equals to 0. Everything should be at the same spot now. Everything is here now. Okay, well, at the okay. Now, how to drag these things to the top? Let's say Z minus 1000. Okay. Oops. It looks like this didn't the trick. It crazy. It dragged the whole scene closer to the camera. That means Z is Z in this case. So what about Y minus 1000? Yeah, it's psychedelic, isn't it? Okay, so that is weird. Let's say Y plus 1000. Maybe that's the way to do it. Nope. This is super weird. Crazy. Okay. All right. Let's say X minus 1000. By the way, I'm just doing screenshots all the time, so let's say X plus 1000. Push and pop are methods to, oh man. Push and pop methods are there. Whoa, my goodness. I can't concentrate on speaking because I'm so fascinated by this visual stuff here. Push and pop functions are here to make to define that specific functions should run inside of a specific newly defined coordinate system. So they don't have I mean they are set up in the right way. That's I'm pretty sure about that. So I don't have to tweak that anyway. Scene.height divided by 2. Oops. Okay. How do you mean to implement that, Thomas? Fascinating. Okay. Where is where is that stuff? It disappeared. I just, Is it outside of the sphere? Is that possible? Can't see anything. Okay. Maybe that was too much. Let's say minus 2000. I'm trying to achieve that. Whoops, that's it. I found it. That was what I was trying to do. Well, the opposite of this. I was trying to drag these elements above the floor level. That's what I'm trying here. Right? And I think that's what happens now here. Yep, that looks very good. Wow, that's so crazy. Okay, I guess some of you would like to play with the code as well. I will send it to you in a minute. Okay, okay, that was... But I wonder why it is not in the middle, in the center. Oh, it is in the center. Okay. Cool, nice. That's what I would wanted to achieve. I will now. I think that's already pretty nice because that just puts all of these elements to the middle. Okay. Anyway, let's compress the code. I will put it to my Discord channel. Now, save it as DDG Reality Step 13, and then take that folder and compress it. Here we go, and then I will go to my Discord and put it into the students only channel. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Files are too powerful because I have 35 megabytes. Why is that? Probably because these screenshots are quite large. Okay, let me just copy them. Oops, copy them to or move them to the desktop because you don't need them. Okay, I will delete those and take that, compress the code. Okay. 14 megabytes still. Why is that? Why is this photo so... Okay, because I edited the floor, and I will now... Okay, I get it. Let me just delete and clean up this folder a little bit to make it smaller. Okay, let's delete those old zip files, compress the whole code, put it here, and then I will upload it to Discord. Hope this works. Yes, it works. Great. Cool. Yeah, maybe I have to do an update on my Discord server to make more larger uploads possible. Maybe that's a good investition. Investition? Is that the right term? I don't know. Anyway, cool. You know what would be nice? I mean, that's something you probably cannot easily implement because I don't know if you have installed the FFmpeg and the video export library. It doesn't work properly on Mac OS. No, I won't do that because I don't want to confuse you. Because if I would, I thought maybe it would be cool to render some videos when I run the code, just to make the whole process a little bit more easy to. You know, I'm planning to do a supercut later on, and I think for me it makes sense to implement a quick recording function. So, to be honest, you know, I have a utility. Which is called rec.pde. I drag it into my sketch folder, and this is the function. So, yeah, I love FFmpeg too. I'm going to speak a little bit about FFmpeg in a minute, okay? So, This is a function that renders a video every time I run the sketch. And here I will also look for the timestamp function that I have in my snippets collection /snippets to make sure I won't overwrite anything when I'm rendering a video. So that means I will take that code here, copy it into my rec function, and under here, this creates a timestamp. And I will say plus timestamp parentheses. So this runs the timestamp function. And every time I run this code now, it will create a new file on the base level of my sketches, which is very, very powerful. So if you get the whole thing up and running on your computer by installing FFmpeg and the video export library, that's super helpful, because every time I now run the sketch, it just records to my hard drive already. So if I hit the escape button, I can go to the sketch folder, sketch, show sketch folder. I go one level back, and then I will see that there should be a file, but there's none. Why is that? Oh, because I'm not running the rec function down here. So here I have to run the rec function at the bottom of the draw loop, 30,300. I mean, yeah, or 30,1000. So 30 represents the frame rate and 1000 represents the amount of frames I want to render. And I also can end the recording by hitting escape. So now it is recording a video every time I run the sketch. So this is already recording, right? And I made sure through the rec function that it's saving, or with the timestamp that it's saving a video with the appropriate timestamp. So this is the video I've just rendered. Nice, isn't it? So every time I now hit the run button here on my processing sketch, it renders a video. Later on, I can take the whole material and work on the supercut. That's super helpful. Whew. Yes, there's an MP4 because I have been recording this yesterday to create a GIF for my Patreon post where I announced this, or that I share the code now on Patreon. Right? Cool. So this is a super, super helpful workflow because it doesn't force you to decide, okay, now I want to render the whole sketch. I mostly implement that kind of functionality into my sketches because that makes the whole thing super, super slick. And I can always decide to use older renderings because I had the specific effect working there, but not working anymore in the future or in the most recent version. So this is a super, super intelligent, thank you very much for that, super, super intelligent solution. It's not mine, I found it on the internet for another programming language, but I use it since a very long time. And yeah, so FFmpeg is not really working very well anymore with Mac OS X. Because if you're especially when you're working with an M1 chip. So it is not, I didn't get it running on my MacBook Pro M1. I've got it in the other room, but it works on my Linux computer. So what you have to do, and I've got a tutorial on this, if you have an older Mac or an older PC with a Windows operating system, maybe this tutorial helps you. But I had many people who complained about this and told me that it's not really working for them. Let me see, where is that post where just, come on. I think it has a red circle. Yeah, processing tutorial video export. So it is a very strange thing, to be honest. Okay, here's my, sorry, I forgot that I've got my MacBook Pro here and here's the chat. So I have to look it up on the other computer. Tutorials. Here it is. Yeah, I posted to the chat now. So Speedwolf, the problem with M1 is that we had some issues with processing 3 on Mac computers with the M1 chip. And this was especially happening in 3D scenes. There was a quick fix for that, but even though there was a solution to run 3D-dimensional sketches on processing 3 on M1, they decided to make a new port to the most recent Java version with processing 4. So that's why processing 4 is a revolution, because before the community was very confused about the fact that it looked like they are not really working on a good fix for these errors, because they were existing since quite a long time. With processing 4, from my point of view, they really sent a very powerful and very important signal to the community that processing is absolutely in work in progress, and they are still working on it. I was a little bit scared because I felt like I'm building my curriculum in processing, and it looked like everybody is now focusing on P5.js. Yeah, with the huge update of the website, of the whole design of processing 4 or processing 2 version 4, they proved that processing is a huge thing that they are all working on, and they it is very safe to use processing. Okay, anyway, that was an excursion into processing versions. Yeah, now I've got this very nice setup here, and I hope you get it up and running. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that tomorrow. Did you get it through Brew? Yes, I did. On my older Mac, I did. On my Linux computer, I installed it via apt, I think, something like that. But I guess nobody of you is using Linux. Whoops. Okay, so we have now a very nice solution for rendering. In the next, okay, let's do it like this. So in the next uploads on Discord, I will upload it with the record script here, but I will uncomment the rec function, and that will make it not executing it in the end of the code. That will make sure that you still can run it on your M1 Max, okay? So, but if the rec function is activated, it will crash. So make sure it is always commented out. Okay, cool, Speedbo. If you're also using Linux, that's great. I love Linux so much. I love open source software. I hope to do some streams about Linux maybe in the future, because it was really a game changer for me, to be honest. But this is a completely other story. Okay, this is what we have. Okay, let's finally come to the philosophical discussion about this kind of algorithm. So maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but I'm currently still studying. I went back to uni with 35 to study digital media and experiment, to write a thesis about creative coding and the philosophy of creative coding. So I will do my master thesis in the next summer semester probably, where I will, you will hear a lot about that on Patreon and on the social media channels you follow me, because that's also going to be kind of a social media project, but I won't tell you too much about that at this point of time. I've learned a lot about the philosophy of creative coding, and I've studied lots of opinions about it, and to shape my own point of view and my own perspective on how I teach creative coding and what I find important. So for me, I think that we have in graphic design especially, and these are mostly the people that I teach in my university courses, graphic designers still don't visually or aesthetically resonate with creative coding projects, because they feel like, graphic designers mostly aim to gain the control over the systems that they create, and creative coders or basically programmers are more used to let the computer make certain decisions. So there is let's say, a mindset difference in these two personalities. And because my target group is the creative, are the people mostly or more from the creative sphere, I want to onboard them to think differently about computers and use programming languages to explore how computers work and explore their own point of view onto technologies. I decided to build my curriculum very, let's say, or my courses very much oriented on the aesthetics that I've learned as a studied communications and graphic designer, to get them on board for that kind of new way of thinking. And the problem is that when they are looking for generative design or creative coding on the internet, they find, whoops, okay, now they find loads of visuals that don't really resonate and work with them. So that means they are applying, or they are kind of having prejudice, visual prejudice or aesthetic prejudice against creative coding and generative design. And that's the problem I try to tackle. I try to solve by not getting too generative in what I'm doing. I aim to teach people how to get control back. And that's also something very important if you want to work professionally as a generative designer or creative coder. Gaining control over the systems you create is a very, very important thing. Otherwise, you won't be able to convince anyone about your solutions. And yeah, I think this is also a very nice challenge to gain control, because yeah, this is really where the skills come or become visible, right? Gaining control over creative coding and the code you create is a very, very important and interesting skill. It teaches you how to think. And that's what I find especially valuable. I mean, of course, it's totally fine to create wild experiments and get crazy with shapes and, you know, recursion patterns and stuff. But if you want to reach people out there that don't have anything to do with creative coding at all or generative design, then you have to think differently, I think. And because my goal is to reach those people, I try to avoid generative aesthetics. This is a very old problem, by the way. It's not new anyway. It's has a lot to do with, well, the visual culture of Europe, maybe, you know, the Bauhaus and the design education, how it is taught these days. It is very much about controlling every single parameter. And creative coding is about giving away the control to fight it back, to get it back through a very difficult process. So, but in the end of the process, there is a new situation where you have, you know, a wide range of new possibilities. That's what I find super interesting, to think about creative coding as a sphere of learning, as a model of for yeah, how we think about technologies. It's a very complicated topic, and I'm thinking about this since many years now, and I'm writing about this since many years, and yeah, it's very interesting. So if we talk about this sketch here, there's now much more control than before, but it's still very generic. Looks very generative and very computational, right? And you know, as I said, if you want to reach those people out there, you need to try to get these. Or it is a good idea to try to, you know, reduce the complexity of it. Maybe I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Okay, Tamim, you're right. The issue of it is math and creativity use different sides of the brain, and combining both is hard for creative persons in the learning process. Absolutely. And that's but there's so much power in it, because if you learn how to do that, and that's what I love about creative coding, it leads to personal growth, right? It helps you to think differently and to connect these two sides. And this is super, super powerful. So I always, in my talks, when I talk to students, I always point out that everything my students create, and I often show videos and show reels of projects that my student created, I always point out that this is just the back end of what I teach. The front end of what I teach. In the back end, my students learn much more than just creating visuals. And this is the philosophy I follow in my teaching. Okay, that was a lot of philosophy for those of you who just came to see some processing code, but it was quite important for me to share these thoughts with you. Yeah, okay, let's try to get control back to the camera. So let's change these values to, let's say, whoops, to minus 200 and minus 2000. That should avoid that we are able to look under that plate. thing. Yeah, and we also could adjust the camera position, the Z position of ourselves a bit and put it much more to the back. So where is that variable that controls exactly that? Let's see. Oh, sorry. It's in the scene, I guess. Translating everything to the middle. Camera Z. Where's camera Z? Let's use the super crappy search function of processing for that. Okay, here it is. Camera Z, all tabs. Let's find it. Okay. Camera Z is 0. Let's set it to 2000 and see what happens. Okay. What's going on? Okay, it looks like I just dragged the whole thing to my back, so I will use, whoops, I will use minus 2000 now. That should do the trick. Did that do anything? I don't know. Let's say minus 5000. Hey, but you know, this is creative coding. We are exploring possibilities here. This is super, super interesting. Okay, why don't we put the camera a little bit more to the top? I think that would be quite cool. Center, so the eye level on the Z axis should be, on the Y axis should be, okay. How to do that? Or maybe I can translate the whole scene a little bit more to the bottom. That looks better. But I don't like that much that, you know, I see a lot of the floor, but too less of the of the sculpture. Let's call this a sculpture. Oh, there's much going on in the chat. Very nice. This talk on the contrast between creative coding and graphic design is spot on. Yeah, it's super, super important. It has to do with, you know, it's not a problem of the graphic design and art. It is a problem of the society, how we look on technologies. We are in a digital comfort zone using apps and gadgets that we use every day, that we rely on, and we don't exactly, or we don't really question what they do with our lives. So creative coding is a way to start to think about how technology works, and that's what I really like about it. Ipsoka says, I wonder how it would look like if you use a normal distribution shaped like a shape for the position. If you would use a normal distribution shaped like a sphere for the position. Yeah, that's a little bit of math, I think. Speedwolf, teaching programmatic logic is different than teaching as a program with a deep, okay. Nice. Sounds very nice. I would like to see what you're doing, Speedwolf. Would you post a website or something if you have an Instagram channel? I don't know. Yeah, it's super interesting. This intersection is super, super interesting. Okay, 3000. Let's see what this does. And note, is this better? My goodness, I don't get what's happening here. So let's use 10,000. And overdo it completely. Okay, that was not the fix. I'm not that good in 3D geometry. That's why I'm struggling with it here. I don't see any changes. And note, we are recording videos all the time, right? So it is really creating a lot of data at the moment. Ooh. Ooh, okay, this is why. Oh, okay. I was dragging the whole sphere now to the bottom. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Oh, this is just the. Okay. Ha, that was just the globe, right? Okay, I'm already losing some cognitive energy here. But that's okay. I think this is the variable that I have to tweak. Yep, exactly, Skywolf. That's what I did. Oh, okay, this looks a little bit better. Let's tweak that value and put it to 1,200. Okay, now we have a more jetpack perspective. Nice. Okay, maybe we can put the whole video wall installation a little bit more to the bottom. Let's say by setting the value to 2000 instead of 2500. And it already looks like something, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get control over the scene at the moment, as you can see. I'm trying to, you know, fight with the values here to make it, to put it in a meaningful, to create a meaningful visual. Okay, cool. Now I got that. That's cool. Now let's create more of these displays. I'm excited to see how that works. Oh, wait, maybe before we quickly can switch on the light again to see what happens then. Scene dot directional light 255. Damn. Okay. Okay, whoa, this looks much more, ooh. Okay, but you know, this looks very dystopian. Do we want dystopian visuals? I don't know. We were talking about this yesterday. I told you a little bit about the reasons why some of my visuals look a little bit dystopian. Yeah, let's have a discussion on that. Would like to hear your opinions. Okay, now let's increase the number of elements here. So I'm generating 10. Let's say I want to have 1000, and I guess the frame rate will completely drop now, I guess. Let's see. Okay, this is frame 1. In frame 2, we should see the displays, and yep, there they are. Okay, this is much too slow, but it's rendering a video, so I could let it run and just wait until it's done. I will set this to 200 now. And I also will deactivate the direction light because I think it looks too crazy. Okay, this is much more performant, but it, you know, does it look anyway appealing? Does it look good? Does it make sense? I don't think so. It looks very random. I'm running through that thing at the moment, and there is the exit. Okay, whoa. Yeah, but that's the kind of generative aesthetic that I was talking about. Okay, let's decrease the value here again. Let's say 20 is a better value to make it not too complex. And I also would like to see what happens when I apply the shader again. Look, I mean, that's much more clear, right? Now it's much more clear what we can see here. What the heck is going on? Crazy. What happens if we activate the shader? Martian Medloon, yeah, that's amazing. Whoa, that looks like a video game. Whew. But we cannot see anything, right? We cannot really see what's going on there. We don't see what these displays are doing. How can we fix that? Maybe increasing the value to 4000. I don't know if that works because we have a resolution of 1920. Oh, now it gets... Okay. What is this? Okay, nice. So this is the shader that I've implemented, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. I'm not so sure. Crazy. Okay. Very interesting. And I still like this kind of, yeah, this kind of motion. What if we rotate that whole thing? But first, what happens if we set the amount of pixels to 8000 in the shader? Speedwolf, I don't exactly what you mean. I am using the shader function in processing to load a GLSL filter and apply it at the bottom of the draw loop. Whoa, crazy. And again, let's take a look into my into the sketch folder. This will look terrible because we've got so many files now rendered into, oops, in here. No. Why is that? Shit, because I deactivated the rec function. Oh, damn it. Okay, that's bad. Now it should render. And I don't know why I have a... Okay, a weird overlay here. Welcome to the world of Linux again. Now it's rendering a video, I guess. Okay. It's very slow. It's very, very slow. What the heck is going on? Crazy man. Woo! Here we go. There it is. Okay. Oh, damn it. Okay. Crazy. Okay, cool. I will share that code with you on my Discord channel. And also, I would like to speak a bit about FFmpeg because I've prepared something. And I think that makes sense because I have been using it here to render that scene. Now I will compress that file. Oh, no, sorry, I will save it to another. Come on, where is it? This is another sketch. I will save it to give it a number 14. It's still running. Why is that? There's a sketch running anyway and don't know exactly where. Because the frame count is printed here to the okay, now it's stopped. Great. Cool. Okay, let me take that sketch, go to my sketch folder, take the code, compress it, and drop it into my exclusive students only Discord channel. There we go. Nice. It's uploading. Yeah, so what I would like to speak about with you now is are two tools that I use every single day, which simplify the whole process of converting media. So this is super, super helpful if you work with videos, with GIF files, and I've got two tools I would like to recommend you. So I have talked about FFmpeg. So FFmpeg is a dependency that has to be installed if you want to work with the amazing video export library. which I highly recommend because it simplifies the whole process very much. FFmpeg is a command line tool. That means you use it in the terminal on your Mac, for example, or on the command line in your Linux or computer or Windows computer. And it can be used to convert any file format or mostly any media format into any kind of film format. So that's super, super powerful. Let's take a look at my blog post that I released, I think 2 years ago, about FFmpeg snippets. And I just reworked it today a little bit. So there are many different snippets I share here in this blog post, and I will post it to the chat on the other computer. I'm going to my website, blog, page 3, FFmpeg snippet collection, and now I will paste it to the chat here. And these snippets are super, super helpful. Cuts the video at a time or between a specific or a defined range. So here I define the first position, and here I define the length, the duration of the video. Super helpful. Convert a video format into another. So FFmpeg-I says use that video. Here it is called in.mov and convert it into out.mp4. So you won't be bound to any media encoders and media converters that are shipped with the Adobe Creative Suite anymore. So these are very powerful and very simple to use tools that you can apply, that you can use to, convert your works for any platform. Cut the first 30 seconds of a video. I think that's exactly the same code as here, so I can erase it. Merge audio and video. I use that all the time. So I have some audio tracks that I created in my production software Reason, and I just merge them with video files to post them on Instagram. Super helpful function. Compress audio. That's what I use mostly when I record streams with OBS, and the audio is not powerful enough. This is a compressor algorithm that I can put it on top of it to make it more pumpy and compress the audio a bit. Create images from video. This sketch, or this, no, it's not a sketch, but this line of code takes a folder of images and converts it into an MP4 file. Nope, vice versa. Sorry, takes a video and converts it into JPEG files. Concatenate videos is an algorithm that takes multiple MP4 files and cuts them together. Also very handy. Add padding white letterbox. This is an algorithm I don't master really yet, but you can take the videos that you have and put a letterbox around it to adjust the formats. It's also very helpful. Convert a video to a GIF. So on my website, I often use GIFs, and GIFs are a great format because you can implement them in HTML documents via the image tag. Super handy for your portfolio, very helpful. Desaturate video. Well, desaturating video means taking the colors out of it and making it a grayscale video. Also very cool. Never used it, but it's quite handy. Create a video from a folder of images. Also very handy because that's a stop motion algorithm that takes the renderings from a processing sketch, for example, and renders them to a new video. That's, by the way, what the Movie Maker tool in processing does behind the scenes. And reset dimensions is also very interesting. That's what I just added a few minutes ago. You can take any kind of video, put it into rescale it with this algorithm, so to different dimensions. Super handy tools. Very cool. And now I show you another very cool tool I use to generate GIF files, mostly because this is much more intuitive than using FFmpeg. So if I want to put GIFs onto my website, let me just deactivate these ads here. Then I go to video to GIF, and then I upload a video. Let's do that with one of my recordings from the sketch. Maybe that one, but I think it's a little bit too long, I guess. I don't know. Let's take that and see what happens. I don't think that this is a good file to create a GIF from it, but for demonstration purposes, this should be fine. I'm uploading it to easygif.com here, and then I get kind of an editor window. This could take a little bit of time because it's a large file, 54 megabytes. Let's wait for a second. Is anybody watching still? I don't know what's going on in... let me just go back to my YouTube live streaming. Okay, 12 people are watching. That's great. Cool. Yeah, so it's still uploading. And you can upload files up to 100 megabytes. Beware, because, you know, GIFs should be very small. I always try to keep my GIF files under 2 megabytes. Otherwise, it loads too long on a website, especially when you go onto a website with a mobile device like a smartphone and you don't have a stable connection. Whoops. Here it is. It's uploaded. Now I can define what kind of size I would like to have. I would set this to 800 pixels. I will set the frame rate to 20 and I will convert it to a GIF. This also could take a little bit of time, I guess, because this is a quite huge file. Yeah, here we go. And it's 21 megabytes large. My goodness, this is too much. Let's optimize that GIF and pump up the compression level to 180. That's much too large. I mean, 21 megabytes is too large for the web. I don't know if that's anyway interesting for you to learn how GIFs can be created, but I love GIFs. It's a very nice and stable format. Okay, hello Sandra. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. What's your take on just using looping MP4s with no sound on your website? They look like GIFs to people and are way smaller. Absolutely. I mostly use MP4 files, but I also like the aesthetics of the GIFs. So they have this kind of grainy structure. They are easy to implement in the image tag. And yeah, so on my website, I have not implemented any possibility to use real videos as thumbnails. I don't know. I use videos very often for my blog posts when I want to show very large visuals. But normally I use GIFs for very small animations. That's how I do it. But this is not the best way. I don't think it is the best practice. I like aesthetics of the GIF. It's mostly very, as I said, very grainy and I like it. Okay, this is to change the speed. I want to optimize this GIF again with another method. I would like to drop every second frame, which will halve the size. Then we will be at about, 6.8 megabytes still. That's a lot. Okay. And it's also much too fast from my point of view. Maybe I can, use the speed optimizer here to set it to 50%. GIFs are just beautiful. I like how they, I like GIFs. They are so old school. They look very 90s, and I like the kind of aesthetic that happen when you compress your GIFs. Optimized. Let me also adjust the size of the color reduction in dither. Let's reduce it to 10 colors and see how that looks. Yeah, good for blog post headers. Exactly, that's how I use them. Wow, we are at 3.26 megabytes already. That's pretty good, and it doesn't look that bad, right? Okay. Can I still do something here? I mean, this is a super complex animation. It is quite large with 800 pixels. Maybe I can change the size again to 600. Okay, how can I change the size? Crop, resize. Here it is. Width and height. Okay, width should be set to, let's say, 600. Not 6,000, but 600. Resize it. Okay, it gets larger. That doesn't make any sense. Let me optimize this one again. Oh, before I want to save it, before I just lose the file. Okay. Resize the image to 600 pixels. Weird. Now there seems to be some problems. Maybe I have to apply the dither again. Let me see. Again, let's reduce it to 20. Optimize. It didn't really get better. We have 2.56 pixels. I think I will stick with the 800 pixels version here. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Right, that's fine. I will use that for my Patreon post to share the code maybe. I love GIFs. I set it to 20 colors. Speedwolf, that's what you asked here, right? Yeah, cool. We talked about, wow, we did so many things today. We implemented Stigmola Hansen's amazing solution for recursive, how to say that? Video wall effects. We have, whoops, where's my OBS? Wait, I've lost myself here. Okay, nice. We've talked about so many things. We've been implementing this very nice recursion video wall thing by Stigmola Hansen. Looks amazing. We talked about generative aesthetics. I showed you how to use the video export library. I have been talking about EasyGIF and FFmpeg. Wow, this is a very, very packed live stream. To me, I think it makes sense to stop it here. Tomorrow we should, wrap the whole thing up, finish it, and see in what kind of, maybe adjust some aesthetics, maybe also switch some images, which could be quite interesting. And yeah, I think this is a very nice format. I've learned so much through this live stream. Yesterday I was very exhausted in the end, to be honest. Today I feel much better, much more energized. It's really interesting to observe myself, to see how I feel while streaming. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. And yeah, I wish you a wonderful day and hope to see you very soon. Tomorrow is the last day of my stream here. And then we will see how I proceed with streaming in the future. It was a lot of fun. All right. Bye-bye. See you.